as a person, what comes natural to you, and find a way to plug that into the right business model. It doesn't feel like a hustle. It doesn't feel like a grind. It just feels like something you love to do.
Today's podcast guest is Jenna Kaltved. Jenna was one of the very first speakers on the AGC stage. She is a race car driver who accelerates direct sales. She says that success loves speed and that you really can't sell your way to the top, that it takes a team to do that. And there's safety in numbers. She said, in working with a team, make sure you set up your team to win and celebrate their victories. Matter of fact, she takes the team mindset even to her own family, where she does a business with her husband, with her family, and she says, get your family involved. Let them know what your goals are so they can be a part of the experience and they can cheer you on. She says, be future minded and you get what you focus on. Today's podcast is full of a ton of great advice from Jenna Kaltved. My name's Travis Sims, and I am the founder and CEO of AGC Accelerated Global Connections. And this is the AGC Experience.
Hi, friends. Are you ready to connect deeply, feel calm, and find inspiration? Dawn Bennett has been having so much fun meeting with people online and learning how she can help them grow, as well as offering complimentary EFT or tapping classes and personal sessions to clear stress and inspire people to engage with their business by clearing fears. Please head to her Touch Remedies website or call her at 651-401-6131 to register for a free online class to help you move through stress and emotional turmoil to find that inspiration. There, you can also schedule a personal meeting to connect so she can help you grow. She's looking forward to deepening your relationship. Dawn Bennett, Touch Remedies, the science and soul of deepening connection to self, others, and community.
All right. I'm super excited to be here today with our guest on the AGC Experience podcast show, Jenna Kaltved. And before we get started with Jenna, I want to just say to our listeners, to our viewers, I want to say thank you for tuning in. Every Monday, we have a brand new podcast that drops where we're interviewing absolutely amazing business minds and leaders that are passionate about so many ways in leadership, and can't wait to share them all with you every Monday. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. We now have listeners and watchers from all over the country and all over the world tuning into the AGC Experience. And without further ado, I want to get to know Jenna a little bit more. Jenna, I've known you probably about 4 years now, maybe a little more. And it's been fun to get to know you. You've had a lot happen in the last couple of years. You're a part of the AGC speaker, just rare, unique group of people to grace our stage. And I remember that day. It was an awesome day, and you're such an amazing person. I'd love for you to share with our audience a little bit about you, your history, what you're up to, what makes you passionate about what you do, and so on.
Well, thanks for that, Travis. And yes, it's great to be back and kind of in the flock again on your podcast. A little bit about me. Native here to Minnesota. Come from a pretty big family of 6 kids. And I saw business when I was younger. I kind of had a part of my life that was corporate and a part of my life that I wanted to kind of break free and have a few more options. And things really have accelerated for me the past couple of years. Last year, I met my husband and got engaged in a month and a half, and you were there at the event. It was actually at one of my business events. He proposed in front of over 100 people with the CEO and everything. And yes, he did surprise me.
You know what? I rarely stop someone in their opening, but I want to say, because when I first met you, it was you would say, hi, I'm Jenna Thompson, and a good referral for me is a husband, and you
Exactly.
would say what you were looking for in a guy, and I always thought that was so neat because you were clear about what you wanted, and the right guy showed up for you, which is awesome.
Yep, and it happened exactly how I wanted it to. I just didn't know that it was happening. So that was interesting. So, and it just clicks when you're with the right person. And we actually got married 5 months later, and we share the same anniversary as you and Dawn. which is
Yes,
kind of fun.
it
And
is.
then I have two amazing stepkids. I love it. My stepson Jacob is 19 and Josie's 15, going on 30, like most teenage girls. And really prepared for that. I used to do respite foster care about 10 years ago. So I have a soft spot for teenagers. I just do. And I race cars, so it's not easy to get on their good side. You just drive crazy a little bit, and you're in. You're cool, so to speak. And then I do a couple of businesses. One of them, I work with my husband, my Vaseo business, and it's in direct sales. And, I saw the industry when I was young. My family was involved in some great companies back in the day. And I fell in love with the team aspect. I was a volleyball player. I was the setter, which is really, you run the offense and you're the captain of the team. And I really love that concept in business. If you can find a way to use the skills and what you're passionate about as a person, what comes natural to you, and find a way to plug that into the right business model, it doesn't feel like a hustle. It doesn't feel like a grind. It just feels like something you love to do. So I like helping people. It's really in my nature. I like setting people up, just like in volleyball. I set the ball just perfect, how I know they like it, so they come in with the big kill, right? And I love celebrating that with other people's victories. And I really found that in the direct sales industry and found the right home for me about 3 years ago. So I get to build something with my husband, which is really important to me because I'm a time person. And some of our goals for the future, I know this is a long intro, I'm just
No,
kind
that's
of
great.
there, is, we want to have our own kids as well. So, and he's not getting any younger. He'll be 49 next month. So we got to keep him young. And we want to have him be more the stay-at-home dad and work more part-time because he has a job he doesn't really like and they don't really appreciate him. And then he does softball umpiring and refs hockey, which he really loves, being around the sports and around the people and stuff like that. And so we needed a business that we can build so that we have more passive income coming in by the time we have kids. And so for those reasons and freedom is why we love direct sales. And then I have my corrective massage business as well. So that's really my introduction. I love I love being around business. I love being around those kind of entrepreneur type people, and obviously attracted me to AGC and in our relationship.
Oh, thank you for that. And I'm going to ask about the direct sales. I'm going to start with that. And because I think most people either know someone in direct sales, or they've considered direct sales, or they've done direct sales in their past and they're not currently doing it, or they're currently, or they current. I mean, everyone knows someone in direct sales. What advice do you have to someone that's considering direct sales? How do you find the right product, the right company for you? What's the best way to get involved?
Okay. So I'll answer that in kind of a roundabout way. I'll give a little bit more of my experience in direct sales.
Sure.
So I was the type, when I was 18, I saw someone invited me to a presentation and I joined. And I was working my first job at Target and I quit my job. I would not recommend that at 18. Um, I was fired up. I caught the vision. This was an amazing company. They really highlight women and really give them a platform, and recognize they're probably one of the top companies in the entire industry as far as recognizing and empowering women. And that's, obviously attractive. But all I knew was you have a party and you book another party, and that didn't happen for me. And I was just dead in the water. And for me, some people can relate. I can count on two hands how many companies I've been in over the years because I always wanted that success. And I went to the meetings, I did, those types of things. But what was missing for me was the right mentor and the right system to plug into. And so things actually changed for me about 9 years ago. I found a company that I really liked. It was kind of a different product line because I was kind of burned out from what I had been doing, and I found the right mentor, and things drastically changed for me. Um, I I had some success for the first time, and it was important. And in that company, I actually broke into the top 10 all-time recruiters in a 12-year-old company that I was in for 6 years, and had some success. But the stars weren't all aligned. So what I look for in a company, there's 5 things really. One is leadership. In any business, I don't care if you're looking for a corporate job or you're looking for direct sales, whatever it is, you have to look at the leader. Does the leader have a good track record? Does the leader know how to, because I've seen companies that they hit it, they make it big, and they're not used to that kind of money. You know what I mean? And they don't know how to run the ship. Just because someone was good in their job doesn't mean they're good at running a company as well. So you look at leadership. Next, you have to have something that stands out. You don't want just another Me Too product or service. You need something that grabs someone's attention that you can get behind. Okay. Third thing is you need timing. I don't like to be late to the party, Travis. I love startups. Okay. AGC, I was there in the beginning. Startups are fun. But you have to, with a startup, you have to have the leadership to know that you're going to make it past those critical year 1 to 5 years. You got to know, like, I don't want to restart again. Okay. So I want to know that that is important, but I also don't want to miss the huge part of momentum. When you talk to people in business, when you can partner with someone or a company when it's small and ride that momentum wave to big, that's where the big gains are. That's where most of the opportunity is. When they say get in early, there's some truth to that. Get in early. Next is they got to pay well. They got to make it worth your while. If you're going to pick up that phone that weighs 300 pounds because you're nervous and you're brand new and all this kind of stuff, you got to have the right incentives. And so you got to be with a company that pays well. And then the fifth thing that's really important in any endeavor, as you know, like in AGC, you picked very carefully which nonprofits and things that you want to give back to. So there's got to be a cause that is bigger than the company, than the products, than everything else. And with Paseo, they really had all 5 stars. And it was fun to partner with them, and we're actually, making waves. We're 2 years in. We were the only nutrition company awarded top 50 healthcare companies in the world for global impact on health and different things like that. So we're having a fun time, and it's like being in a 10-year-old company that's only 3 years old. So that's really for me. So find people that you want to do life with. When you're looking to partner with a direct sales company, you want to resonate on a deeper level. A lot of people say, I get in for the money. Like I was on an MLM cruise with all these people I'm listening to these people over like 4 days on this cruise, and all the speakers had at least made $1 million. And a lot of them say, you know what, I got in it to put food on the table. But I stayed in it because I fell in love with helping people and watching them build to their dreams. And then it just becomes addictive from there. So that's some of the things that I picked up over the years.
That's fantastic. I'm going to ask you to turn your computer volume down just a hair. There you go. Thank you so much. That's fantastic. There are 5 great things here that you shared with us that we can apply to really any kind of business. And I love that advice. I want to ask you now, because you've went from being a successful single woman to now you are this successful married woman with kids, and you did this all in the last year. How do you balance now work and family? I mean, because that's such a thin line, and especially in a business where it doesn't necessarily have a clock in and a clock out time. So I'd love your advice on that. I'm sure we've got a lot of other successful, business owners in listening or watching right now that are trying to balance those same things. I'd love your advice on that.
Sure. A few thoughts on that. Number one, I mostly believe balance is a myth. Okay. And here's why I say that. Everyone, if you're shooting for balance, you'll have something to do forever. And the truth of it is, you think about it like you're more juggling different things, right? And you have these balls that are in the air. And which one do you grab? You grab the one that's closest to the ground. So sometimes your husband or spouse needs more focus. That's just the way it is. And sometimes your kids are going through things, or they have choir concerts, or, whatever it is, and they need more focus. Or sometimes you sit down, like this is what we did. So we're buying a house, right? We're closing on a house. It's been a process. And what we did is we sat down with my husband's 15-year-old, and we said, hey, look, we're on a spending freeze right now. Here's the goal. Okay. The goal is the house. You can pick out furniture, and here's your budget, but we're going to do things after we close on this house because this is our goal. The kids know about different cruises that we're shooting for. There's a New York City promotion that we're going for, and it's important to include your family on your goal. So, and trust me, I've been in relationships where my significant other was not supportive of the business, and it's a whole different animal. So I'm super grateful that my husband's on board. So he understands that, hey, I might have to take phone calls, but then there's times that I make a point, like if we go for a walk or something, I leave my phone at home so that they know that this is just their time. So I think there's always that delicate, tension of balance. And I don't know that you always have it 100%, because right when you get it, it changes. There's some new need that comes up, or some new promotion that you want to go for. And I think, life and relationships, they really ebb and flow. So sometimes in your business, you're 100% on the gas. And sometimes you got to let the tires cool down, or you're going to spin out and hurt yourself. As a race car driver, I know what that's like. And, so same thing with relationships. Sometimes you're spending more time, with your family, and they need that. And then sometimes they're off doing their own thing, and you can focus more on your business. So that'd be, some of my tips that I've been experiencing lately.
Yes. Oh, thank you for sharing that. I think that's really brilliant because I agree with you. Although I feel like I'm always striving to find this perfect balance, but you're right. There's times where you have to spend more time on your business. There's times where you have to spend more time with your family, and so on. So, and I equate that to, like, I'm trying to get this thing, whatever it is, back up into the balance, and getting sharing that it's like juggling was really clever. So thank you for that.
Mhm.
So you mentioned getting your family involved with goals, and I think that's really smart. Did you tell me your kids' ages? I can't remember.
Yep. Jacob's 19. He's grown and he's doing his
Okay.
own thing. So I hope to get him into racing so I can spend more time with him. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to take up rock climbing, and that's gonna be painful. And then Josie's 15, so she
Okay.
is now officially gonna be a sophomore. So we got a few more years with her. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So you get those great teenage years. My son, I love him, right? He was such a great kid up until about 12. And then I just wanted to lock him in his room and keep him there till he got out on his own. I'm teasing a bit, but he was a tough kid. So I hope you have a better teenage years than I did. So
Well, and being a stepmom, this is what I tell her. I'm like, look, have you ever seen Cinderella? I want you to clean stuff. That's what's important to me. I'm the
yes,
stepmom. And I've learned that I'm an extension of the parent that I'm with. So it's kind of like, what would your dad do? All right, that's what we're gonna do, because
sure.
I'm a stepmom, I'm not the mom. But then I have boundaries where you'll treat me a certain way because you live with me and I'm a human being. So that's kind of how I approach it. And it
Yeah,
works pretty well. And we get along. I mean, yeah,
good,
she's
good.
easy.
I want to ask one last thing on balancing, and that is that you mentioned earlier, like, some of the things like that you learned from, like, don't quit the day job, was a lesson that you learned in going down with multi-level marketing. And but so you currently have the Viseo, and then you have a massage business. And I think that's common with a lot of entrepreneurs, and we're speaking to a lot of entrepreneurs on this podcast. How do you balance both things and one of them not suffer? Or, how do you keep both of them accelerating? Or are you trying to grow one to replace the other? I mean, what's the goal here?
Sure. That's a great point. And honestly, in direct sales, 99% of people do it part-time.
Hmm.
And they just want a few hundred extra bucks. They want some spending money. Or like, I have a brother that's in another direct sales company, and it's his hobby money. It's his racing fund, and so we go and we appreciate that. So it depends. That's where most people are gonna lie. They just want that extra money. For me, what I've been doing is blocking out. I actually, through networking, found a chiropractor that I want to work as a subcontractor for, and we have a really sweet deal. And so I have my set hours that they're going to book me for, which is great. But here's the thing: I've learned from my own experience that I can come up with an excuse anyway, out of thin air. Whatever's going on, any circumstance, I can come up with an excuse not to do this or that, right? But I've learned that I do best when I'm busy. Okay. The busier I am in my massage business, the busier I am in my direct sales business. The busier I am in direct sales, the more attractive I am at attracting new clients. So for me, it's like, I don't know. It's just that push. It's just that let's get it done. Let's not have wide open times that are available. So, just booking those things keeps me on course. And then just having whatever goal you want to work for that month in your direct sales business, I think is big. For me, I'm the type of person that I dream. I'm learning to dream bigger as I go,
Yeah.
and I just want it all in life. I don't think that there's these great places in the world for us not to go and see them and travel and have those experiences. Life is really more about relationships and experiences. So for me, I would like to, once we have our own kids, be able to spend more time parenting. Because if you talk to a lot of parents, one of their biggest regrets is, I wish I had more time with my kids.
Yeah.
And so, but you have to be intentional and design your life. I just bought this book, and I'm actually going to do the course of this gal, where she talks about, it's called Maybe It's You, Cut the Crap, Live Your, or what is it called? Cut the crap, face your fears, love your life. And it's really figuring out, what do you want? Okay. So I want my direct sales business to outgrow my massage business. Number one, let's face it, massage is hard work. Okay.
Sure.
Your body, it's just like construction or any other of those trades. My husband used to do his own hardwood flooring business for 20 years. Okay. His back is not like that anymore. And so you have to be future minded. What is it that you really want in life 5 years from now? And then design it on purpose. So things are not going to happen by accident. Your businesses aren't going to grow by accident. So for me, I want my direct sales business to outgrow my massage business, that I can cherry pick the clients I want, or whatever it is that I want to do. I have that option, and then have the freedoms on top of that. So I think you have to be truthful with, what do you want and what are you really willing to do to get it?
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Excellent. You mentioned earlier, set up your teams to win. You talked about working with teams, and I know, at least with direct sales, that's likely the goal, is that you want to get from, and maybe not for everyone, but the way to win is through teams. It's attracting people onto your team, and you can accomplish more together. So what advice would you give to people that are recruiting teams and managing teams? Because those two things, not everyone's ever done that in their life. And it can be a great way to win, but it can also be somewhat difficult in herding cats, if you will.
Yep. Great question. Yeah, teams. It's nearly, if you want like real success and like freedom, there is no way that I'm aware of that you can sell your way to the top. You can't sell your way to the top. But some people are happy with just having a few product sales and that extra money. How do you attract a team? You go out and you do it really fast. Success loves speed. It's no secret. There's a lot of people. Eric Worre's one of them. He's a fantastic trainer in direct sales. I read a book that really ruined me. It's called Beach Money. And he talks about you need, and this might shock people, but you need 20 to 30 people to really get that gem. So say you recruit 20 people, a third of them will do nothing. Okay. And the next third will be product users. And they might say, hey, I'll make phone calls at some point. They're just not. They might be there for the social aspect. And, that's important to them too. Or in the community and the culture that you're creating. And then another third might do a little bit, but of that 20, you should get one superstar. And you just need a handful of those people to really change your life forever. So you have to, like Jim Rohn talks about, what does he say? There's safety in numbers in the law of averages. Okay, so you just have to keep on sowing that seed. And as far as managing, I think a lot of people, once they get a little bit going, they get caught up in that management. And that book, Beach Money, he talks about, I don't manage people. I plug them into a system. And as far as like, because it's easier to make a baby than it is to resurrect the dead, is what they say. So it's easier to go find a new motivated person, because I've spent so much time pouring into people that say with their mouth that they want this, but with their actions, they don't. So I've gotten to a place where I want to attract higher caliber people. And the only way to do that is to just find more people. And then the cream always rises to the top. And it's their independent business as well. So your job is to connect them to what they need. You connect them into the system. I don't want to spend my whole day managing my own Facebook account and all this kind of stuff when the company already does a really good job of that. So if you have a company that does a really good job of that, 90% of your time should be out meeting people, recruiting people. And recruiting is it's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's you meet people, you invite them to take a look, you show them what it is somehow, whether it's you or third party stuff, and then you follow up until you get a yes or no, and that's it. And then you plug them in, onboard them, and plug them into a system, and that's your management. And then you have fun with them. Like there's a couple of new people on my team, and I sent my husband over because I was racing, and he helped them put their deck on their house. They're rebuilding one of those maintenance-free decks. And it's just fun to go do life with people and help them and spend that time with them. But you got to go with the ones that are going. You can walk with people that are walking, you can run with people that are running, but you're not going to sit with those people that don't want to do anything. So if you want to build a big team, you have to pick up the phone, you have to just go through the numbers. Just like if you look at Facebook marketing and stuff like that, you're reaching lots and lots of numbers. Okay. And then the ones that bite on it are those numbers. So however it is that you get in front of a lot of people, that's the way you succeed. That's the way any business does it. I mean, if you look at McDonald's and Pepsi, and I mean, those companies spend, I know Pepsi and Coke, I think they spend half of their revenue back in advertising because they want to constantly be in front of you. It's no different in any business. You run out of people to talk to, you run out of business. I hope that helps.
Wow. Yes, it does. Thank you. I wanted to ask, since we are currently living in unique times, we're in the pandemic and we're about 3 months in. Things are starting to reopen. We're both in Minnesota, cautiously reopening, and I wanted to ask how you have used the last few months. How have you been creative? What have you done to stay ahead? What advice do you have to people coming out of the pandemic?
It's interesting. April was actually one of my best months in my direct sales business. I was literally the #1 recruiter in the entire company.
Yay.
So
Congrats.
that was fun. So they came out with this promo to go to New York City on New Year's Eve to watch the ball drop, and that's a bucket list of mine. And
Yes.
I was getting the word out like crazy. And so my thing is, you get what you focus on. I don't focus on the pandemic. I don't watch the news. When people are talking about it on the radio, I change the channel because I want to focus on building. I want to focus on what is going right. I want to focus on, here's the thing with the pandemic and direct sales. Look, the amount of people looking for a home-based business skyrocketed during the pandemic, okay? I mean, anyone with a home-based business should be like, cha-ching, there's lots of opportunity out here. And here's the other thing. People are getting used to working from home. I have massage clients and other people that I talk to that are like, I don't miss the 45-minute one-way drive and the gas money and the time away from my family. And so they're getting used to these freedoms. Okay, this is a perfect, um, um, you know, uh, uh, field,
Recipe.
if you
Yeah.
will, for direct sales. And people are realizing that the powers that be, so to speak, if they're going to call you essential or unessential, I mean, you got to figure out how to take more control of your finances and your future and your income. And so for me, it's been the perfect scenario, the perfect storm for people that are looking for opportunity. Now, there's the people that aren't looking for a solution, but I'm not looking for them. I'm looking for people that are looking for a solution and a long-term plan. Because even as things go back to work, people are going to remember that they weren't making money for 3 months, or they were told that they weren't essential, and all these different things. And so, extra part-time thing, Plan B, is looking more and more appealing to people right now because I think things are being shaken, and I think there's some good that's come of that. People like spending time with their family. They like cooking at home. They like some of those things, those, if you will, traditions that they can start again, and then finding the right vehicle, the right business to keep that going, I think is huge. And so I want to focus on those positive things, the things that I can control, and I want to focus on kicking some butt. So that's me.
Awesome. Love it. So I'm going to ask you this question because only a few people know the answer to it, and that is you've graced the AGC stage as a speaker. Matter of fact, you were one of the very first few speakers to ever grace the stage. And what was it like to be on the AGC stage? What do you remember? What was your favorite parts? What do you like about it?
It was really fun. Preparing for the event was amazing. Just how AGC just makes you feel like $1,000,000, whether you're a guest coming in for the first time, or the speaker, or anywhere in between. And it's just one of my things is I love seeing people in their element. Okay, that's one of the reasons why if I go see a band play in person, I am so much more likely to buy their CD than just hearing them on the radio, because I see them up there jamming out and having a good time. And that's really what that felt like on that stage. And I got feedback from another speaker that was at the event. He's like more of a professional speaker than I am. And he's like, you know what? When you talked about racing and those analogies, you really came out. And that was great feedback for me. So I learned a lot from that event, where my sweet spot is as far as speaking. Some of the other stuff, I didn't feel that I came across as strongly because I was trying to kind of use other people's material, like from different sources and stuff. So when it came out just more organic for me, I think that was a great learning experience. I feel like I was the most impactful during that segment of the speech. And it was a great time. My mom was there, some other people that I know were there. So that was fun. And just having that on record that, that was a great experience, and put that in my portfolio. So that was huge. And I appreciate the experience, Travis.
Oh, thank you for gracing our stage. We appreciate it. All right, I'm going to let all of our audience know, because by now, if you're like me, like I want to go back and re-listen to this podcast, because I have a whole page of notes from you, just fantastic advice. If people want to know how to get in touch with you following today's podcast, and how can we reach you?
You can reach me by email. My email is my first and middle name, which is Jenna Ione, JennaIone @gmail.com. Now you know what to call me when I'm naughty, Jenna Ione. And I'm really a phone person. I love to connect with people and have real conversations. There's just something about that you can't do over text. My number is 612-987-7104, 612-987-7104. Reach out. I'm available for Zooms and different things, and love to chat.
Awesome. Thank you, Jenna, so much for being a guest on the AGC Experience podcast show. Fantastic information to share with our listeners and viewers. And speaking to our listeners and viewers, I want to say thank you for staying with us all this time. I hope you got some great nuggets. And if you did, I want you to share them with others. Please tell others about this podcast. Send it in a link. Send it by email or text or in an instant message, and brighten someone's day and say, hey, I know you're in direct sales and this might help you. Or I know you've been considering direct sales and there's some great advice in here. And I know you've been considering quitting that day job, but maybe you want to listen to what Jenna had to say about it, or what she had to say about building in teams, and especially those 5 things that she shared with us that are going to be relevant to you and whatever business or industry you're in. And so thank you again, Jenna, and thank you for listening to the AGC Experience podcast.